Alright. I think that solved everything. Yes. Okay. Hi, everybody. It's Saturday. I'm gonna try painting every Saturday. We got more Mordheim to work on. Which is cool and fun and interesting. I've cleaned slightly some of the chaos from my hobby desk. I don't think you'll be able to really notice much difference, but I was like, let me just get some more space, try to just chill out with that. So it's maybe worked a little bit. It's certainly not the cleanest hobby desk anyone's ever had. But that's fine. That's completely okay. I'm doing what I can. Trying to get Discord to load in. It needs to refresh, but I'm gonna just let folks know that I am streaming, and then we'll get started here. Still working with our Mordheim limited color palette thing that we're doing. Hi, Josh. You are first again. Welcome. Just kind of hoping that Discord will cooperate, so I can let people know that I'm painting, but it is, my computer's running a little slow today. It's taking its time to think, which is fine. It's allowed. It's allowed to have some thinking time. Hopefully it doesn't take too long, though. I am impressed with how you're always first. Regardless of the situation, you seem to know that I'm streaming before anybody else, and you're quick to hop in. So thank you for being here. Always glad to have you. If you've got any exciting hobby projects, I'm interested to hear about them. I hope that they're going well and got good good progress on them, things like that. Oh, let's move this back in. There we go. Alright, now we can let people know that I'm streaming. Which is what I wanted to do. I can't decide whether I'm going to continue base coating stuff or if I am going to hop over to doing some highlights. So that's something that I should have probably decided, but I didn't. So we're here now. And that's fine and cool. And we'll just roll with it. All right, gotten the word out. I've let the people know that I'm live. Now we can get rid of that screen. Hi. There we go. All right. We've got a little man, little dragon man still on the painting handle, so maybe we'll just go ahead and continue with him. Because he's here. Might as well. At least I suppose if everything gets base coated, then it'll look cohesive, and that's like a strong point that we can all reach and be happy with. So yeah, that's what we're gonna start out and do. I think that's reasonable. I'm finding places to add some red to this guy. So that he'll be cohesive with all of our other guys. Yay, Soda! Good to see you here. I'm glad you were able to make this one. I am streaming a little bit later than I usually, well, actually kind of significantly later than I usually do, because I had some stuff to do in the morning, so I'm glad you're here. It was fun hanging out on your live stream for the Warhammer reveals. That was a good time. No Zotes, as per usual. It didn't stop me from asking for them. Never will. But nevertheless, good to have you. I'm just working on my little fish-themed Mordheim warband that I still have not actually written a list for, which I really still need to do. And we're going to notice a running theme of these streams where I still don't do that part until probably I absolutely have to. Which is maybe not the best way to make sure that you're ready for the Mordheim tournament. It is, however, the strategy that I'm going with is just put the list building off until you can't really reasonably put it off anymore. Cause I don't want a list build. I want to paint. But maybe I should have list built before I started painting, and that would have been like the responsible way to do it. I do worry that in cleaning off my hobby desk a little bit, our crab claw sorcerer guy may have gotten lost in the mix, and I may need to go digging for wherever they ended up, because they should be on the desk, and they're not, which worries me slightly. They got tossed into my box of miniatures that I will paint later, which is not ideal. Should I be worrying about that right now? No. Is it my overriding concern at the moment? Yes. I don't want to lose them. And it appears that I have. So that's, you know, not great. I really shouldn't spend all of our streaming time digging around for a miniature that I misplaced. That I shouldn't have misplaced in the first place. But that's how it goes. You clean something off, and then you can't find where you put things. We'll find him in the end. Someday my Zotes will come. Yeah, we can hope. Hi, Anno. How are you? Good to see you. Okay. I need to stop fussing about that. I will find this guy. Eventually. Okay. Let's just paint the guy in front of me. That'll be the strategy for today. And I can find everybody else later. As they're needed. We're going to find the guys later. We're going to build the lists later. We're going to do all of that stuff later. Hopefully. And it'd be really nice if it got done with time to spare. But I do know myself. And honestly, I've only really sat at my hobby desk while streaming lately. So haven't gotten a lot of painting done outside these streams, but I have been working very hard on the Snack 28 expansion. I got to do some play testing on Friday. It went really, really well. I'm really, really excited for how well it went. I'm happy about it. Uh, I can't wait to share it with you. I think it's gonna be really fun. Um, got fun new miniatures. We've got mounts that you can ride, and they're added to the game. And we're working on playtesting all of the monsters so that they can be, we're not going for like a perfect balance or anything like that, but we want to make them reasonable so that people can still have a good time playing against them, but they're not like piss easy either. One of them I've created that probably needs fine tuning. He's a little bit difficult. Uh, so we gotta dial him in so that he's possible to defeat, but still, like aggressive and stuff. And I'm not great at the math part of things, but I have friends who are much better at it than I am, so I will be asking for their advice and taking that into account. Did the ADHD goblin take control of your mind? No, it didn't. I don't, to my knowledge, I do not have ADHD. Usually when I have something that I need to focus on, I can focus on it and accomplish it. It's just sometimes I do have a bit of forgetfulness with where I put something down, and that can stress me out not knowing where it is. But it's not like a kind of failure to prioritize or executive dysfunction or anything like that I've noted. And I'm not very good at focusing on multiple things at once. I don't need like a bunch of different sources of stimuli in order to enjoy a thing or take in a thing. And that is something that I've noticed with a lot of my friends who have ADHD, is that they seem to need multiple avenues of stimulation. And I haven't found that is something that I personally need, and I don't have concerns at this point that I have ADHD. I don't seem to fit that bill very well. But who knows? I mean, there's a lot of stuff I probably have and I'm just not diagnosed with. So, I can't say that I'd be like beyond shocked if that were a future diagnosis for me. I'd be like, oh, I didn't think I had that one. But I wouldn't be like, this is impossible. I could never. Um, it just caught me in like a moment where I was worried about where I'd placed something. But if it's not on my desk, it's going to be in the box of miniatures that I have taken pretty much anything that's not this project or something that I just need to base in order to finish. I put everything else that was sitting on my desk as like, ooh, I want to paint this soon. And I put it in a box with a lot of just miniatures that I'm excited about, but haven't gotten around to painting. So all of that can sit in that box and be there when I'm ready for it, but it doesn't have to immediately be on my desk either. That doesn't need to be the place where it lives. My desk can look a little more cleaned up. Odds are I will want to sit down and paint at it. But I had the guy, and I had put him right here, so that probably just means I picked him up and I put him in a box. And if that's not what that means, then, well, maybe there's just a goblin in my house. Most likely cat-shaped. Uh, very quiet. Oh, shit. Let me see here. This isn't muted. What accident? Is this better? Can you hear me now? Now audio for... Okay. Okay. Okay, we've got sound. Is it decent sound? Okay. Got it. Solved it. Sorry about that. It's better. It's louder. Everybody can hear me. We're all good. Awesome. Okay. Sorry to everybody for that. Thank you, Cameron, for letting me know. Sorry I did get locked in on painting there. But we figured that out. We got there. It's fine. I wasn't talking about anything important anyway. We figured it out in the end. That's what matters. It's not giving a lot of credence to my professionally produced stream with a bunch of technical support and scripts and mics and audios and all of this being an elaborate setup. None of that's been proven true, unfortunately. Sorry, guys. It truly is just me in a room painting my miniatures and hopefully remembering to look over at the screen and see what you guys have been saying. Hello, Dueling with Brushes. Hello, Plasma Death Jester and Cameron. I didn't say hello to you. And Mamarchani. And I think that's everybody who's joined since. I don't think I missed anybody. Hopefully I didn't miss anyone. Good to see you all. I hope you're working on fun stuff. I hope you're having a nice day. The major adventure that I went on today is a Daiso opened in town. So I went there. I bought some stuff. Mostly snacks. And some drinks. And I didn't go crazy in the stationery section, which is impressive for me. I love some stationery. I love some cute notebooks. I love a note card. I love a sticker. All that stuff. I'm sure that surprises nobody. Those of you who know my aesthetic will trust and believe that that's the kind of stuff that I'd be into. But right now I'm just sorta Painting this weird, sad little dragon guy. He's cute, but he's sort of morose in a way. He looks depressed. I don't know if that's just how he's sculpted or how I'm painting him, but he doesn't look like he's having the best time in the world. You're snowed in! Oh man! I hope you guys are safe and have plenty of food. Oh damn, Otto, you're gonna be done with Bloodborne in no time. Compared to, like, the one Reborn, Murgo should be piss easy for you. Which is a shame. I love that boss design so much, but I always charge in there and kick the shit out of it first try. Uh, that's one of those ones where it's like, by the time I have reached this enemy, I have surpassed the strength needed so much in order to fight this. It's simply just gonna be fine. You talking about Bloodborne has made me want to go back and play, uh, just like to do a Bloodborne run. Um, it's been ages. It's not really been ages. It's been maybe a year and change. Um, but I love that game. That and I've just kind of been thinking about Elden Ring again. I watched a couple of people play Night Rain, and it seemed fun, but in a way that I really wouldn't enjoy playing. Cause like it seems like you need to have a squad and have your shit together and know what you're doing, and be good at making decisions and fighting bosses quickly. And you don't really get to explore anything, which is fine. That's the kind of game that they wanted to make, but that's like the exploring stuff and going a little bit slower are things that I need or like in Souls games. So probably isn't the one for me. Looks very fun though. I hope that the I hope that it goes well and that people like it. Haven't really looked into any of the like lore stuff that goes along with it or anything like that. I've just literally watched a couple of people play a few rounds. Yarnum is calling to me. Yeah, as it so often does. All that shit like a hunter is a hunter even in a dream. It's all lodged up there in my brain. It's stuck with me. More so than probably any other video game. I remember Bloodborne. There's a lot, though, that I like and have fond memories of. All of the BioShock games I remember experiencing for the first time. Um, I remember playing, like, the first horror game that I ever played was Until Dawn. Um, I don't know, maybe BioShock counts, maybe it doesn't. But I remember that kind of fondly. Obviously, we all know my love for Animal Crossing and Hamtaro Ham Heartbreak, the first game I ever beat. Uh, but yeah, some good ones. Yes, you do, Soda. That, or you can come visit me for, like, I don't know, a week and just do nothing but play Bloodborne nonstop and experience it that way. Which is clearly the best way to experience a video game. Just play it in a freaking blur of what am I doing here? Vacation where all you do is play Bloodborne. Honestly, it's not the worst idea I've ever had. For me. Yeah, Bloody Crow at Canehurst is, it's an experience. Good luck. Fighting that one sucks. Not a fan. It's a surprisingly difficult fight for what should just be, like, a guy. I don't know why I'm putting so many patterns on this man. I haven't put a wash on him yet, so they're gonna get really washed out, but that's okay. I wanted kind of like a slightly clownfish look, I guess, so he's got some stripes. He's got some random spots. He's something. I don't know quite what, but he's something. We'll let that dry and then we'll put a wash on him. Alright, while he's drying, I am gonna see if I can find, the miniature that I'm looking for in this box. But we're gonna talk while I do it. I could show you the horde of just random stuff that's in here. Ugh. Set him aside. This is what I'm working with. It's just a bunch of miniatures. Stuff that's been kit bashed. Things my friends have given me. He should stand out because I've only primed his claw. And I don't have anything else that's like that pineapple gummy worm clear color. He should be the only thing in here that's that color. Sorry, ignore all the sprues that I'm putting on the table. Ignore that. We went through this, like, I don't know, last time when I was pulling out stuff for us to use for kit bashing fodder, so it's not really interesting for me to show it to you again, unfortunately. If I hadn't dropped my guy, there wouldn't be any need. I mean, we have to do something while this guy dries anyway, so might as well. Not that I see him in here, which is odd. Which means I must have put him somewhere else and not remembered at all where I put him. Which again does not bode well. Excellent. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. It's all fine. It'll work out in the end. I am not ready to teach 20 people how to paint. Whoo! No! I'm scared still. I know what I want to, like, say, and I know what skills I want to teach, but I haven't made, like, any worksheets or written up a little lesson plan type thing, which maybe I should do, probably I should do. I don't know. I'm scared. Not that that's a bad thing. It's just, I'm gonna be doing something I haven't done. You know, I haven't taught a class before. I don't know how qualified I am to teach. Well, this might be bad news. I have found on the floor definitely what is the base that he was attached to. Which means he's probably fallen off onto the floor somewhere. Which isn't great, because that means his feet have snapped off his base. I'm gonna find him. I'm gonna find him before I step on him accidentally. Because he does have a metal crab claw, which would be painful. And I thought this would be easier to spot on my floor, but I'm realizing it is truly not. Might have to abandon this guy to the floor. And we might have to come up with a fully new guy at some point. At least that means I didn't, like, lose him. I knocked him off of my desk, which happens. And then he went somewhere in this room. Okay. Yeah, I don't have a course on Nebula. That I do not have. An ice cream cone blast template? That's fun. Yeah. We can make a whole new dude. That's fine. I'm not too worried about that. It's a shame, it's a bummer, but we'll, like, live and it'll be okay. Where did we were using Reichland Flesh Shade for the wash, I believe. Which I need to find again in order to paint him. That's right here. Put some wash on him and move on to the next guy. He can join the other two. And it'll work out. This definitely means that I am gonna end up stepping on that guy. I'll be like, yay, I've finished streaming. I'm gonna go make some dinner or do something else, and then I'll step on a metal crab claw and be like, well, sustained an injury already, and I haven't even started playing with this squad. That's just how it goes. Alright. That guy's got his wash on. Yeah, if YouTube is, like, filtering out your links, that's probably just its default setting, and I haven't changed it. It didn't give me, like, an option to give you, like, permission to post a link or anything like that, so you can post it on our Discord server. I can send you a link for that if needed. Just let me know. But, yeah, that's probably what happened there. I'm gonna move on to painting this next guy. He's got this really fun curly Q tail, which I think will be interesting to highlight when we get around to the highlighting portion of this. But I really do like these weird, freaky little marginalia guys. They're cool. And I don't typically paint a lot of metal miniatures, so that makes them cool as well. I don't have too much detail on them either, which means I can get them painted up relatively quickly, which I do appreciate. They're just little guys. Sick. Okay, you posted it to the Discord. I'll take a look at that when I'm done streaming. Otherwise, I'll get distracted and we'll never get anywhere. And we don't need that. Ideally, we'd be getting more little guys done, so I can have these all base coated. I don't know if we'll manage to base coat everybody, but we'll get a few more in. And that'll be something. I think this guy will have some red feathers. One of my friends really likes birds and was showing me a bunch of different kinds of birds that they had photographed today. And it was interesting to see just like where the different kinds of markings and stuff like that are on birds. I won't be applying what I've learned to miniature painting in this particular instance, I don't think. But it was something that did come to mind with just painting like a single patch of red. That happens in a lot of the different birds I saw. One of them looked like he was wearing a little pair of red pants, and it was very cute. I liked that one. I don't remember what kind of bird it was. They're all European birds, which are different than the birds that I'm used to. And I was very bad at trying to identify which kind of bird was which kind of bird. I'm not much of a bird watcher myself. Uh, but it's kind of like when you see an animal that you've never seen before, and you're like, I'm pretty sure I had a grip on like most of the animals that we knew about. I was like, I think I know most of the birds that like exist in the world, but there's a lot more than I realized or spent time thinking about. That's cool. Any plans on the bases yet? Yes, I did like your idea of trying to do like dock work bases with coffee stir sticks. So I think I'm gonna give that a go. Which actually might mean Crab Claw Guy is viable because we were gonna have to break him off the base anyway. It might just mean that we find something to use as new little feedies for him. Or we could have him kind of like half fallen through a dock and bursting back up through broken wood. I have several little like decorative syrups that I would usually use for candies and things like that. But I might be able to use some as kind of like really sludgy water if I do like a green or a brown. And I think that could be just a kind of cool effect to add. So I think we're gonna go with like fishing dock style bases. I'm not super confident in my ability to pull that off, but hopefully we have time. And if they have really cool bases, my less than perfect grimdark paint jobs shouldn't stand out so bad. And these aren't even particularly grimdark, they're just sort of a little bit gritty. The wash sort of dulls all this brightness down into something that's a little bit less loud. Which works. I think it works and it looks good. Yeah, more kind of a river sludge situation. Peg legs isn't a bad idea. I kind of like that. That'd be fun. Really just sort of lean into the whole like pirate fisherman sort of look. That'd be cool. I'm not super sure how I want to paint the wings. Those parts always sort of confuse me. I'm like never quite confident that I'm doing that right. I'll add some of the other teal blue, I think, to do the rest. Fisher by day, pirate at night. That would be good. That would be good. They could be posing as fishermen. But they're cults of the possessed, so I don't think it's gonna go well for the town or the fish or for really anyone associated. I think that's all gonna go kind of poorly. Also, frankly, gonna go kind of poorly for me trying to paint them. Um, because a lot of this, you mix it together and it just turns into different shades of gray and brown. That's what happens. But hey, a lot of things in life, fish, birds, otherwise, lots of them are gray and brown. And I'm sure if you lived in the world of Mordheim and were corrupted by warpstone and sludge and other such beautiful, horrible, little nasty things, a lot of stuff would still be gray and brown. I don't really think these guys are, spending the time to render flowers into red dye or extract pigments or anything like that from natural shit that's around. I don't know how the dyeing process works, but like they're not taking the time to do that. Not while Mordheim is collapsing. Not that I care whether stuff is accurate or not. Um it just makes me feel better when I try to mix two colors together. And like maybe this will slightly tint this one way, and it's like no, they actually will just neutralize each other and create a different gray brown, which is to be expected. I'm not working with like single pigment paints or anything like that, so it makes sense. I'm not disappointed or anything like that. I kind of figured and kind of knew what I was getting into with these. It's definitely a departure from my typical method of painting though. We'll get back to the bright colors as soon as these guys are done. Got plenty of Snack 28 guys that I want to get painted up. And other stuff that I need to like just finish off. Like I've had this one miniature sitting on my desk for ages. I've had this like horrible monster pie thing, and literally all I need to do is touch up the red on this cherry and then base him, and then he's done. And I still just haven't done it. He's still just sitting there waiting to be finished. Which, isn't great. I'd like to have him done. I'd like to be able to kind of clear him off the desk and move on to something else. But I've not done it yet, and that's okay. I'll get round to it one of these days. The thing from the Mordheim Lagoon. That's pretty good. I like that. Thing from the Black Lagoon is a I like I like that more than most of the like universal classic monsters. I think Creature from the Black Lagoon is probably my favorite of those. Just like film wise. I think that The lead heroine is very charming. The creature design is fun. The plot is, it's a bit convoluted, but it's not terrible. It's funny to like look back on the Universal Frankenstein, which is so iconic, but like they call the doctor Henry Frankenstein in that one, and then like his best friend is Victor, and it's really just like for no reason. It doesn't serve any narrative purpose as far as I can tell. It's just a change that they made. And I don't think it's for like any audience like visibility, like, if Victor Frankenstein had a name that was less sort of Americanized, I can see in my mind why they would change that. It's not the choice I would make, but like that would be something that I could be like, "Oh, they changed it so that audiences were more easily able to pronounce it." But Victor and Henry are like interchangeably common. I don't know why they did that. It's just a choice that they made, and a baffling one. But it's like, sure, that doesn't necessarily change anything about the story. Um, but go off, I guess. Sure. Henry Frankenstein. That's the guy. I suppose they could have done it to like clearly mark that as their own adaptation, but that also feels like something that's more of a modern sensibility to do. I could be very wrong with that though. Like when you misspell something so that you can copyright it. Creature from the Black Lagoon, but when will they make the cereal as Mint Man? I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't know that mint cereal would sell particularly well. I don't think you're gonna be getting a mint cereal. I think you'd have to choose a different flavor. Because frankly, I can't blame them for not making a mint cereal. I don't know that that's what I'd want to be eating first thing in the morning. I like mint as a flavor. Um, but it does kind of tend to be like, oh, if I ate something mint flavored, that's just gonna stick around for the next hour or so. And you can't even like brush your teeth to get it away, because that would also, in most cases, be mint flavored toothpaste. So regardless, you'd just kind of you'd be like double dosing on the amount of mint you have on any given morning. So maybe that's why not. You'll have to ask the fat cats at the cereal factories, though. But that's my 2 cents. I guess so, yeah. If it was made in the 30s and they wanted him to seem less German, changing that from Victor makes sense. But they didn't change that his last name is Frankenstein. I mean, that still feels very, very German, you know? But you can't really make the film Frankenstein without the word Frankenstein. So I guess they were like, that part can stay. But his name is Henry now. And yes, it is a very different movie. A lot of, I mean, commonly the adaptations are quite different from the book. And like that's fine. Things should change in adaptation. I'm cool with that. I feel like maybe they lost the actual like sentiment behind what they probably did lose the sentiment of what Mary Shelley was trying to say. But like it's an adaptation. It's not supposed to be 100% faithful to the source material. That's why they adapt stuff. It's just a weird change. Henry to Victor. I don't know. It's not a significant it's not worth how much time I've spent talking about it. It's just one of those weird little things that makes you stop and go, "Huh, why did this happen?" Frankenstein. I do love Young Frankenstein. That's a favorite. That's a favorite right there. Again, in terms of accuracy, not very accurate. In terms of will I watch this movie every Halloween regardless? Yes. Yes, I will. I love it. It's very funny. I love Gene Wilder. Um Mostly I think just because I watched Charlie and the Chocolate Factory so many times as a kid. It was one of my favorites. Which totally doesn't show in any of the work or painting that I do. And I'm sure is shocking to hear. But yes, I was very fond of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And I know a lot of people hate the Tim Burton remake. I think it's okay. I don't hate it with the same vitriol that a lot of people do. Still, if I have my pick, I'm watching the original version. But again, at least they like made choices. They both those adaptations made choices and had a perspective, and that's truly what I'm looking for these days. Increasingly, that is what I'm looking for. Does this feel like it was made by an AI is a big no for me. Does this feel like it was made by a person, even if they made something very odd that I did not like personally? If the answer is yeah, then I'll at least give it a watch. Kind of like Mad God, which is a film that I don't like at all, but is still very clearly the passion project of a guy who had an idea. I don't know if it's an idea that I would have spent so long of my life working on, but I'm not that guy. I want to say it's Paul Tibbett, but I don't know if that's the correct name, and I'm painting, so I'm not Googling it right now, but it's maybe something close to that. I really would love to see a blend of stop motion and horror in a film that I actually really did like and did enjoy. I've not yet to see that, but I feel like the two mediums are made for each other. I really feel like stop motion and horror could unite in interesting ways and make for something truly unforgettable. Netflix had a couple of I don't they had like an anthology thing that I don't remember the name of. Um, and I think it was all stop motion, and it was at the very least like suspense, if not actual horror. But a lot of it was like with felted stuff for stop motion, and that was kind of interesting. Again, I don't think any of it quite scared me the way that I would have wished. And I tend not to really enjoy anthologies. I'd rather just have one thing that's made really well than like three shorter things, but that's personal preference again. But I am glad that they made it, whatever it was called. Trying to remember. I'm trying to pull that name from my mind and it's simply not there. Uh, Phil Tibbett. Okay, I was close. I said Paul. That's not bad. I'll take it. I got the last name right for a movie that I saw ages ago and didn't like all that much. I'll take it. Paranorman, like, kind of counts, but it's still a kids movie. And sure, it is like a horror kids movie, you know. But I want like a non-marketed to children, straight up horror film that is also done in stop motion, which, you know, at least in terms of Western animation, I think the idea that animation is not just for kids is still an idea that has to be fought for. I think the success of like anime movies like Chainsaw Man and Demon Slayer, we're getting closer to realizing that culturally, but it's not there yet. I hope it gets there. I'd really love to see some strange things come out of it, but we're not there yet. The Adventures of Mark Twain is pretty spooky. I mean, people mention that, right? And they mention that one scene where like the devil destroys that little city made out of clay. And I guess like kind of I don't know. That one doesn't really spook me. It doesn't the mask that the devil guy has is creepy-ish, but again, that's something made for children. It is not what I am looking for. It's not the straight up horror that I'm talking about. Cuz there is plenty of children's animation that's deeply unsettling. Like Secret of Nim has a lot of sequences that I find unsettling. The frickin' anytime Don Bluth was really asked to animate a cat, in an evil way, he made just terrifying looking monster things, which makes sense. He was often working with mice as primary characters. But like that shit was spooky and is part of a kids movie, which is unfortunately just not what I'm hoping to see. I want an actual full feature length stop motion horror movie that's good and is spooky and is not marketed for children. That would be my white whale now. They let they let Del Toro make Frankenstein. Um and that was something that I hope to see come to fruition, and it did, and it's amazing, and it made me cry. I haven't watched it more than once, but I know that I will probably watch that film at least once a year, every year for a good long while. I liked it very, very much. And I truly hope they just let that guy make tons of films. He's my favorite director, so I'm biased, but I don't care. It's a caffeinated miniatures. Hello. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. I'm talking about the stop motion horror films that don't exist apparently. That's where we're at. Uh and painting more of my little band of Mordheim weirdos. I should actually put a wash on the other dragon guy that I had finished up. Pop this one off so that that can dry. Del Toro could make just about anything good. I do believe that that is a truth. Um, I'm trying to remember. He said he wanted to do Phantom of the Opera, I think, and I don't like Phantom of the Opera like at all. Um, to my knowledge, Del Toro has not done a musical before. Please correct me if I'm wrong, because I would love for there to be a Del Toro musical that I don't know about. But, um, that would be interesting. I suppose he wouldn't have to do the musical version of Phantom of the Opera, and that also makes sense. I guess that's just what came to mind immediately. There would have to be some degree of singing in it, you can't really have a thing set in an opera house without some degree of music. But truly, yeah, I guess he is just sort of reinventing the classic monsters, but for Netflix at this point, and I'm fine with it. He wants to do Frankenstein. He can do. I mean, what Robert Eggers is doing a werewolf film. We had Nosferatu. That's all that I know about. But like, yeah, give us another. Give us another. Give us Phantom of the Opera. Why not? I don't think that I've seen the Universal adaptation of Phantom of the Opera. That's one that I just straight up did not get around to seeing. I have seen the musical version with Gerard Butler, and I did not particularly care for it. Was that also Baz Luhrmann? I don't think it was Baz Luhrmann who directed the musical Phantom of the Opera. I know he did Moulin Rouge, which I feel like I watched at a similar time in my life to when I first watched Phantom. Yeah, I watched like Moulin Rouge and Phantom of the Opera, the musical version, at like the same age or whatever, like very close together. So they just sort of cross over in my mind as being part of like that same time period, which is probably why I wrongly attribute the director. I don't think Baz Luhrmann did it. I know he did Moulin Rouge, and he did The Great Gatsby, and probably other stuff that I know about or have forgotten. But that's the standout in my mind. All of his films just seem entirely desperate to keep your attention. They're so flashy. There's so much going on all of the time. Guys really tuned in on the TikTok gotta keep your attention style. Which ain't how I prefer things to be, but I cannot deny that there's like a distinct energy there. And like, I'll take it. But Phantom of the Opera, the musical, to my knowledge, is much slower, so I don't think it's his work. I have seen Phantom of the Paradise. I didn't like it. I thought it was bad. It was very campy, don't get me wrong. But it was in my opinion quite bad. It had been on my list of stuff to watch, and I got through it, and I was like, okay, I'm not coming back to this one. I think I'm good. I've seen it. It was a film. I didn't like it very much. But I'm also very picky. I don't like a lot of the movies that I see, and I watched over 100 movies in 2025, so I do be going through them. The thing is, there's always more movies out there. They make new ones like every day. I'm never gonna watch all the movies that are on my list, but I'm gonna damn well try. I watched a 3 hour movie yesterday. Uh, a 3 hour Swedish film, I believe, called Fanny and Alexander that had been recommended. Um, and I just didn't like it at all. There were times when the cinematography was quite good. Um, but I just, for whatever reason, did not connect with it, was not having a good time. But I got through all 3 hours of it. So I guess that technically means that I am capable of sitting and watching a 3 hour movie, which had been one of my primary, like, I just don't have the bandwidth for this reasons that I haven't watched The Brutalist yet, even though I try to watch all of the A24 films. And I do like, I think it's Adrian Brody who stars in that. But I've not been in the mood to watch what seems like a depressing uh A very depressing film about brutalist architecture for a very long time. Maybe it's just because the premise doesn't interest me, which should be a reason not to watch a film. Um, but I heard it was good, so I want to see it. I want to experience it and decide for myself. Almost inevitably, what will happen is I'm gonna watch it and then go, I didn't like that very much, and it wasn't a genre that I care for at all. And people will be like, yeah, that makes sense. You would have known that going in. And I'll be like, yeah, that one is kind of on me. But if I don't watch it, I'll never know. I would like to go see Iron Lung. I haven't gotten around to it yet, and I was gonna try and go this weekend or something, but it's fucking extremely cold where I live, and I really did not want to organize that and see if people would want to go with me this weekend. So maybe next weekend. Hopefully it's still playing. I know it has a fairly limited theatrical run. So I'll have to look up and see how long the theater near me has it for. But I would like to see it. I think that it could be interesting and good. Um, it will be kind of weird to see Markiplier YouTuber in like an acting capacity, because I think in my brain and probably the brains of so many other people, it'll seem like he's doing a bit when he's being very dramatic or being very serious. And I hope that I can just sort of drop any sort of expectation of like, oh man, when's the joke going to land? Like I hope that I can take him seriously and that he does well in the role and that it is spooky or disturbing or whatever when it needs to be, because it is like a horror film from what I understand. I've not played Iron Lung the game or watched anyone play it, so I don't know anything about it, and I don't want to know anything about it. I would like to go into that as blind as possible. But that is my, I suppose, my hesitation there is that I'm not sure that I be able to take it seriously, and I would want to be able to take it seriously. Oh, it's not out yet. Okay, sick. Well, then that helps with me not seeing it this weekend. That solves a big problem right there. I couldn't see it this weekend if I wanted to. I don't have that kind of fame. Where I can just barge in and demand things. No, but regardless, I hope it does well. Um, I think someone self-funding an entire film is pretty cool. We don't see that too often. Especially one that gets a major theatrical release. I don't know if we've seen that before ever. I don't know. I'm not the best film historian in the world, but that could be huge. It could majorly disrupt the film industry, which always could use a shakeup, in my opinion. And honestly, I mean, I don't know him, so like, grains of salt all over the place. But Markiplier doesn't seem like a bad person, so I would like to see his film succeed. Again, I don't know him, so he could be a bad person. He doesn't give the indications of being one, and I don't get bad vibes from him, but I don't know him. And I will never know him, and that's fine. What the fuck metallic was I using for this project? This one. There is a new Silent Hill movie out, I believe, which I will need to see, probably because it's not very good, and that will amuse me. They keep trying to make a good Silent Hill film, and they just don't. They can't seem to do it. But damn if they don't keep trying. And I love that for them. I really do. I hope they make a good one someday. I have a lot of affection in my heart for the second Silent Hill film. I don't know why. There's nothing about it that's, like, good from, I think, either a story for film or a story adaptation of a video game perspective. I just remember seeing it when probably I was a little bit, like, too young to really be watching horror films, so it felt really scary at the time. That's probably why I like it. It's got that nostalgia factor. Yeah, Silent Hill Revelation. Let's go. I just like it. The guy from Game of Thrones is there. Some of the aesthetics are cool. The nurses are freaky. I think you've got the scene at the end where all the Silent Hill sirens are going off. I don't know. I haven't seen it in years. It's probably really not that good. I just hold a fondness for it in my heart. But, like, I also genuinely like the first Hobbit film, and I know a lot of people do not like that film. And I also think Full Metal Alchemist, what is it, 2004? I like that one. That's the one that I like, not Brotherhood. And I was kind of pissed off because I was looking for it, like, I don't know, several weeks, several months ago, probably. And I could not find anywhere online that had Full Metal Alchemist 2004 and not Brotherhood. And I was like, oh, well, that just sort of sucks. It surely has to exist somewhere. I'm sure some guy has it, and it's been uploaded somewhere online. But I was not able to locate it. If you have Full Metal Alchemist 2004, let me know. I would like to rewatch it. I could probably buy the DVDs for $1 million off eBay. Yeah, those are my freaking crazy opinions. It does end with a Pokemon fight between Pyramid Head and another monster. You're saying all of this, Soda, and I'm sure your tone is like, this is bad sarcasm, but you're just saying things that sound cool. Like, I know it's kind of, like, antithetical to the sort of, like, creature representing deep-seated issues sort of thing that goes on. Like, the theming of Silent Hill is not very, like, Pokemon monsters fighting each other. But when you tell me that Pyramid Head has a Pokemon monster fight with another monster on, like, in a film, I'm like, that's sick. I do want to see that. I wish I could just stream movies for you all. I wish I could just illegally have a little movie watch together. That would be so fun. We could watch movies that I genuinely love, even though they're bad. Um, and then there are films that are, like, made to be bad but still lovable. Like Killer Clowns from Outer Space, I do love. It is definitely not trying to be a serious film. Uh, but it's got so much love put into it. It's hard not to like it. I don't find it scary or anything like that. I just find it a fun time, and I do watch it, like, every Halloween. Or every Halloween season, I should say. It doesn't get the top billing of day of Halloween film. Let's not get crazy here. We're making cupcakes? Hell yeah. That sounds good. It is a legit good movie. It has a lot of sexism issues, as I'm sure many films from that era did. But that isn't really an excuse. It's just sort of like, yeah, I'm gonna acknowledge this. And it does fail in a lot of plot ways, but like, you can't deny that the effects are fun and cool. The design is fun and cool. A lot of the forced perspective backgrounds are fun and also cool. It was clearly something that the people who made it cared about. And again, that would be the part of film that I would prefer. Instead of sometimes we just make another Saw film. Because I guess, what are we up to? We're past 10 Saw films. I think we're past 13 Saw films. Does anybody actually know? I want to know which one has more, Land Before Time or the Saw franchise at this point. Actually, let's make a poll. Let's fucking put in answers. Nobody Google it. And then I'll Google it after. It's your trivia question for the day. I need that to not say yes. I need that to say Land Before Time. And I need this one to say Saw. Which are very different franchises. It does have an absolute banger soundtrack. That is true of Killer Clowns. Its theme song is really quite fun. We love a clown-themed burger restaurant, too. Which I think people forget that McDonald's is at times. Yeah, I could host a watch-along. It seems like more work. But I'm sure that could be figured out. It could be coordinated. At this point, I'm not coordinating shit until the Snack 28 expansion is done, because that's already taken all of my brain power to figure out. I have to write rules and do mild math sometimes. And let me tell you, it ain't easy doing math. Not if you're me. And having to confidently explain your ideas to people and have them go, that doesn't make any sense, but we can fix it and make it make sense. And everybody's nice about it, but my anxiety does make me want to scream. So it can be very hard. It's very rewarding though. I admire my friends who helped me with it very much, and I'm very grateful for them. And would not change that process, but it's hard. It's hard, and I gotta be ready to change stuff and accept criticism, and these are all skills that I'm still working on and I'm not perfect at. We get there in the end. Okay, 60% of you seem to think that The Land Before Time has more installments than the Saw franchise. So it's not a perfect 50-50 split. But it does favor Land Before Time. Of course it's on Amazon Prime. Yup, that tracks. Just another crime I get to add to Amazon's lists of reasons why I don't like it. Let's see. Land Before Time. How many movies? Land Before Time, according to Google, has 14 movies. Saw. How many movies? There are 10 released Saw movies, with an 11th expected, according to Google. Let me see if that actually released. Okay, at this time, it looks like there are 10 that are actually out. And then there's an 11th one that they're working on. So it is Land Before Time did win, but like, it's not that far off. How does Land Before Time have 14 movies? They just kept making them. Snack vehicle expansion. I'm adding mounts. I'm adding little guys that you can have your little guys ride. That's the same functionally as a vehicle. If you wanted to have vehicles, just say that my car is a horse, and that's fine. You don't need you don't need separate vehicle rules, in my opinion. It's also very much a fantasy sort of aesthetic. At least all the art that I've made for it is. Um so I don't intend to write vehicle rules for it. When I was initially deciding what kind of game to make, I either wanted to make a the game I did go on to make, which is Snack 28, which I was like, I want a skirmish style game. Or I was like, I want a candy themed mech game. So I can use my knights in the game. And the reason I ended up going with Snack 28 is because, first and foremost, I understood how to write those rules better than robot control-y rules, because I never played a robot control-y game. And also, I did not want to draw a bunch of mechs. I I did not think that sounded fun for making the art. So, yeah. That's why. Okay, this guy's done now too. He gets to go over here and dry off. Can sit there. Excellent. Okay. Wasn't it in 5e that a centaur can be mounted by a medium-sized creature, and centaurs are medium-sized creatures, so you can make a centaur tower stacked to the heavens? Maybe. I don't know. We are not doing a Land Before Time marathon. That's not happening. I'm so sorry. I know that there are just going to be horrible Land Before Time films committing the worst crimes that they possibly could, which would be to have, earworm catchy kind of songs in them. Because that's how it is when, you ironically watch, you go back to, honestly. You go back and you're like, man, I hope that Care Bears still slaps the way that it did when I was, 3. And it doesn't. It doesn't at all. But then you can still get dumb little songs stuck in your head. And let me tell you, Care Bears was a franchise I liked as a child. I'm willing to tolerate some amount of that sticking around. I'm not willing to tolerate freaking Land Before Time music being stuck in my head. That is absolutely not allowed to happen. So I'm so sorry. But that simply will not come to pass. I can't stop you, no. If you want to watch all 14 Land Before Time films in a row, hey, that's your day. Stay up for 14 hours and do nothing else but watch Land Before Time films. You are well within your rights to do so. I, however, will not join you. I am seeking any and all, like, 80s sword and sorcery film recommendations. Any of those that I haven't seen, I would like to see. I've seen Labyrinth, I've seen Lady Hawk, I've seen, what the fuck is it, Jabberwocky, um, I've seen, I don't know if Neverending Story counts, but I've seen that one. Anything in kind of that zone, I'd like to watch more of. So if you got those recs, I'd check them out. I've seen Last Unicorn, I've seen Black Cauldron, I've seen Legend. I don't know what Krull is. Hell yeah, that one's new. Okay. Okay. Sick. Thank you. We'll check out Krull. The Barbarian 1987. I don't know if I've seen that. This is good. I can use this. This is information I can use. Your Hunter from the Future. Soda in all caps. Oh my god, watch Krull. Okay. This better not be a fake film, because you all suggested it very quickly together. So if I find out this is some sort of freaking Goncharov situation where it doesn't exist, you're all on fucking probation. Nobody tell me what the plot of this film is or anyone who's in it. I don't want to know. I have a title. That's good enough. That's truly good enough. I wanted Legend to be good so bad, and I watched it. It's Tom Cruise in that, isn't it? I watched it and I hated it so much. Mostly I just think because I don't like Tom Cruise. And I was like, maybe I can get past it. The writing was not good enough for me to get past it. Tim Curry was fun in it, but they didn't have enough of him. I did like that scene. I think there was like some evil lady that maybe was just like hanging around in his weird hell mansion. She was cool. The unicorns were cool. But overall the film was not great. Highlander, I think I've seen that. I think I saw it ages ago. Okay. Don't spoil who it is, because there's a chance I don't even know who these people are. To be fair, I do expect most of these to not be good. I wanted Lady Hawk to be good so bad, and I did not like it. I thought it was fun, but I was not like, man, I'm gonna return to this often and watch it several times. And I do like Matthew Broderick a lot. Ferris Bueller's Day Off is like solidly one of the movies that I watched a ton as a kid. That's one of those movies that I quote from all the time, too. And unfortunately, many of my friends have not seen it. So my references just... they just fall short. It's fine. But it is funny. Beastmaster. Oh, that sounds familiar, but I don't think I've seen it. And I have watched Willow. I remember watching Willow and finding the plot very difficult to follow. That's my memory of Willow. I should probably give that one a rewatch, though. I feel like maybe nowadays I could appreciate it more. I might feel exactly the same. Who knows? I'd get out my phone and put these on my movies to watch list, which I do have. It's a running list, but I'm obviously using my phone as the camera to record this, so I can't do that right now. I also need to see, I don't think it's an 80s film. I don't actually remember what the year on it is, but I need to see Page Master, which is a children's film. Um, but it looks insane, and the animation looks cool. So I want to check that one out sometime soon. 80s Dungeons and Dragons cartoon. I have seen some of that. It is painful. It is painful. Love that, like, Acrobat was a class that you could play, I guess. Wasn't expecting that. I don't know if that's true to, like, old school D&D or it's just an element of the cartoon. But it's like barbarian, paladin, wizard, and acrobat. And it's like one of these things really, truly is not like the other and does not belong. It's from 94. Okay. Then it's not too far removed from what I'm looking for. Obviously, it's not correct decade 100%. But it's definitely it's on the close enough spectrum. Just gonna paint the little cake that this frog wizard is on, and then I'm gonna need to redo base coats, and that's fine. I'll make a mess. It's okay. Can clean it up. If he looks cute, then it's all good. I did go through phases where all I wanted to watch was like done on cell animation. And don't get me wrong, I always want to watch done on cell animation, but it led me to watching a variety of very strange films. Like when you're like, yeah, I guess the ones that I'm watching are like Watership Down and Feliday and stuff like that. You're just like, okay. There's some fucked up shit happening in these films. What the fuck is going on? I'm really excited. I want to find out what Krull is, so thanks for giving me that to look into. I know what I'm probably gonna watch tonight. Cause the what is it? Night of the Seven Kingdoms doesn't come out until Sunday. I've been watching that. It is I mean, I watched the first episode, right? So I can't speak for the series as a whole. But I cannot be the only person who sat there watching it and just went, "Oh, they're just literally doing A Knight's Tale with Heath Ledger except Game of Thrones." Someone else has to have had that thought. Someone surely must have had that thought. That cannot be a unique Fiverr only thought. Like down to the way that it starts with the guy dying. Like that's exactly how A Knight's Tale starts. And sure, they don't have a scene where they're freaking chanting to We Will Rock You. And so far, we haven't seen a full-on joust, but like that's what they're setting up for at least for now. This is just A Knight's Tale but Game of Thrones. Conan technically is in Sword and Sorcery. I don't if I've seen The Sword and the Sorcerer 1982. That does not sound familiar. But I have to imagine that's a sword and sorcery film, given the title. That would be kind of undeniable. I still can't decide whether I think this frog should be the main guy or my little all sorts should be the main guy. They both have main character energy. They're both kind of serving. That is helpful. And I'm not necessarily looking to just confine it to the 80s, but that's like the easiest way of like cataloging it in my mind. Because I mean, I don't know what year Labyrinth actually came out. If that was the 80s or if that was a year that I just catalog as close to it. But that's a very good point. Cause like to me, and this could be very wrong in the minds of many people, but something like the BBC Merlin television show has a similar feel to it. It was not made in the 80s. Um but it feels like it could have been. The special effects are bad and the writing is corny sometimes, but it undeniably has that fantasy feel to it. It's good. I like it. Again, I've got a special nostalgic place in my heart for it. I remember watching that on whatever channel we had that also got episodes of Doctor Who. And I quite liked it. And so it doesn't have to be 80s exclusive, but that seems like a good place to start. There's a lot of stuff to pull from there at least. And I've got titles now. You guys have given me material, which I appreciate. I like that I can crowdsource my recommendations. That's a fine suggestion, Ano, but honestly, I simply will remember. If someone suggests a movie title that sounds interesting, I can hold that in my mind for long enough to add it to my movie list. And I promise you, Krull is not being forgotten anytime soon. Black Angel 1980. That sounds familiar as well. I may have seen that. Dang. Rip to a legend. Bowie's pretty cool. Trying to paint the warts on this little frog. He looks like he could be in a sword and sorcery film. He's a little friend. He could surely say something condescending to the heroes. I don't think he'd be a helpful friend, but he would be a funny one. He doesn't have a beard, so I don't feel like he could be an effective wizard. But wizard turned into a frog. That's something. That's an idea there. I was thinking about D&D, not in any, like, I want to play a game kind of way, because I got pretty burnt out on role-playing games. And I don't know that I've recovered from that, but a YouTuber I watched did like a just like a fun like follow along quiz video of what kind of like race and class and stuff you would be in D&D. And that was fun. I had a good time with that. Honestly, sometimes you you just, if you're me, end up consuming whatever content YouTube has recommended to you at the moment. Because you're like, well, I don't know what I want to watch, but I want to have something on the TV. That was me the other night. Hearts and Armor. It's Italian? Okay. Hey! How's it going, Poppy Apple Tree? Good to see ya. No, you didn't tell me about the Frazetta Museum. Was that good? Did you visit it? I hope it was cool. Should try and get to more museums or exhibitions this year. I always find them fun to look around. That's true. There are tons of solo RPGs out there. I could do something. I think I have a couple. Or at least I've bookmarked a couple. Gotta highlight his little frog butt. It would be a crime not to. I am gonna put a wash on this, but this will help me remember this. Like, yeah, it's got a little butt. Okay. I think later I'll paint some little stars on his hat, but I'll do that. I'll do that after the wash on him. That's good. I'm glad to hear you're more settled and that things are going well for you. Oh, do you know where in America that is? That might be cool to check out. It's probably like New York or California, so not near me. Because that seems to be where most of the art exhibition-y type stuff happens. But it could be cool to check out. I don't plan on being in New York or California anytime soon. But you never know. Life takes you all kinds of places. Oh, he's so cute. Little frog on a cake. I want to be his friend. I don't think he'll share his cake with me, but that's okay. He has been sitting on it. So it probably wouldn't be very good to eat. He's such a cutie. Oh, this model's so good. When you get the wash and all the little wrinkles and his silly little frog face is staring at you, there's a lot to appreciate here for a simple model. I'm glad he is a part of the squad. He's a valued member of this team. We've got we've gotten quite a lot of work done on our little group of weirdos. Got what? We started with 2 that had been washed, and now we have 4. Could maybe start on this one, too. His gaps got all filled. Um... Somehow he's wearing pants, but is also just sort of a radish. So I don't exactly know how that works. Because that seems kind of impossible. Pennsylvania, okay. Yeah, I'm not really planning on going to Pennsylvania anytime soon. But if I do end up there, that would be cool to check out. I'd see an exhibition of his work. And I suppose if they have like a museum for it or something, then maybe it's going to be there for a while. I don't know. It's a little bit of clay that just like dried in the wrong spot, so I'm seeing if I can push that away slightly without getting this model off the base. I don't know if that's going to be possible. That's fine. Oh yeah, that'll happen. And I suppose I shouldn't have these models so strongly attached to the base anyway, because we did have a very good basing suggestion to put them on like docks and stuff like that. So I think we'll end up going with that suggestion. And that's pretty exciting. I'm interested to see how that turns out. It's got like all this turnipy stuff. Because he's a little turnip 28 guy. And then we can't forget about his little snail friend either. I've got to remember to paint them on a little hat. Let's see if I can't just wet blend some of this together. Make things a little bit more interesting. Because he's like a turnip. He's got turnipy stuff going on. Turnip boy, turnip problems. It currently just kind of looks like he's wearing a weird little pink suit. Maybe the roots need to be lighter. My paint palette is looking Hatsune Miku. I do have a Moomin hobby mat. Yeah. I love it. I'm a little afraid to get it covered in paint because it's a Moomin one. But that definitely defeats the purpose of having a hobby mat. So I'm trying to be less precious about it. The problem is it just is precious. They're precious little guys. They're little Moomins. Special little boys. Special little guys. It's Moomin and Little Mai. Yes, but I may have purchased this off of the internet. It's definitely worth it. It makes the workspace feel my own. Who else in this hobby is gonna be buying a Moomin, a Moomin mat for their desk. It's also small, which again makes it not ideal for hobbying. But I like it. The aesthetic in this case was more important to me than any practicalities. A moo mat. Turnip 28 is on your list of games to play? Hell yeah. I feel like I could get into Turnip 28. I've looked at it a lot, and I've thought about it, and I've read the rules once or twice. And I definitely know people who would be into Turnip 28. But then I always just decide to play something else. I don't know why. But maybe I should try out a game of Turnip 28. Or just paint miniatures for Turnip 28. Hell, why do I always feel like I have to play the game? I don't. That's not the part that I like doing. The part that I like doing is painting the miniatures. I should just do that part. You're painting Troggoths. Hell yeah. Let's go. Trolls are cool. Are you gonna paint something Snack 28 for Adepticon, Soda? Listen, if you're not intending to paint anything for Adepticon, then you can't be put in painting jail. Because you simply weren't supposed to finish anything. Or wait, you have Trench Crusade. You have guides for Trench Crusade, don't you? Am I mistaken in thinking that? Yeah, you have Trench Crusade. Ooh, Moonstone, yeah! I really want to check out Moonstone. I feel like the way they have their website set up makes it kind of a pain to look at their miniatures, which is unfortunate. Last time I looked at them, I had a very difficult time just like seeing the full range. It was like you have to click on everything individually or something like that, which was really annoying. But every time I like see their minis at a convention, I get very, very tempted to pick some of them up. They look really cute. They look really fun. I'd like to check them out. Ugh. It's delightful. Okay, cool. Well, that's a pretty strong endorsement. Delightful is a great word to describe a game. If a game is delightful, I'm pretty interested in giving it a shot. I have unfortunate news, and that is that this little guy may end up being my favorite. I like him in his stupid radish pants. I'm really liking his little green hat. I'm hoping that I'll still like him when his little copper mask is all painted. He might actually just be a little cutie. his chances of doing well in the city of Mordheim don't seem very high. He seems very stupid. Which, to be fair, is generally how I like my little guys to be. Very cute, very stupid. Also, mischievous is a good quality for a little guy to have. Mischievous is a fine quality. I think I'm just gonna splatter some hasty verdigris on this fella. And then paint his little snail companion. I am not paying attention to where I put this verdigris, which may come back to bite me in the end. But it looks cool. So sue me. Sometimes we go a bit overboard, and that's okay. It's definitely better on one side than the other. I should be able to just dab some more copper on and fix that. Looks probably about right. Gotta not fuss with it for forever, but yeah, that looks probably about right. He's just so tiny. Quar! Oh my gosh, yes! You gotta paint your Quar. I gotta paint my Quar. I haven't painted them. They're cuties, though. But yeah, you should definitely paint Quar. That's a good one to paint. You're finished your second snack dog and you don't need to borrow sprinkles from me? Hey, that works out, bro. No worries. They'll still be here if you ever need them. I'm excited to see how your snack dog turned out. I'm hoping to finish putting the base coats on the snail. And then throw a wash on this and for now, call it a day. But we still have a couple little things to finish up. So that's what we're gonna do on this guy. And then maybe I'll actually write my list and see if I need to make another guy or see if we're good. If it can just be this little band of freaks. Because they're pretty cute. They work together surprisingly well. And then I can just work on adding things like the paper banner. I can do all the highlighting. All that kind of stuff that you gotta do so that you can actually play the game that your miniatures are for. Read the rules, study up, know what I'm doing for Mordheim. Hopefully all of my opponents will be like chill as well, and I'll just be up front. I'll be like, yeah, this is like my second game that I've ever played, so I don't know that I'm gonna be the most rules literate. I won't have had the most experience in the world, but the community seems cool and the game seems fun, so. Thinking of using some Quar for Trench Crusade. Oh, that's fun. Yeah! Trench Quar. I'm here for it. Please do. I want to see that happen. Trench Quarsade? Is that anything? I don't think that's anything. Tournaments in February, so we still have a good amount of time. Um I'm hoping that if this is all I need for my list, then we're in a really good spot. Because then I should be able to spend the next time I paint doing like the highlighting for them. And then after that, it'll be working on the basing. So, theoretically, should be done right on time. It's truly amazing what you can accomplish in just 2 hours if you're not trying to do a phenomenal job or anything like that. You're just like, let me see how many of these minis I can base coat in the time that I have. I beat you to Trench Quarsade. Yeah, I don't know if that's anything. I don't know if I like how it sounds now that I've said it, but I suppose it's a thought. I suppose it's an idea. Oh, I forgot. I need to do the little straps on the back of his hat, too. Do those in brown. Don't let me forget the straps on the back of his hat. If you see me reaching for the wash, shout at me. Use your voices through the YouTube comments section, and don't let me do it. I've said it out loud, so I'm probably gonna remember to paint the little straps on the back of his helmet. But I had forgotten that before. I can hear my cat Hector on the other side of the door. He's not happy with how much time I've spent in the hobby room. He's like, you better come out and pay attention to me right now. A few more minutes, buddy. A few more minutes. I gotta finish up. I'm almost done. Okay, gonna paint the little straps on the back of his helmet. Would the Quar just eat the bugs? Who's to say? Who's to say? Probably a niche comment that won't matter to anyone other than me. But I went to the diner today with a friend, and it was really funny because they played, like, they had the radio on. So I assume they were just like kind of playing like local radio or whatever. But the songs that played back to back were that song with the lyrics I'm out of touch, you're out of time or whatever. That one, which everybody had been putting two Chainsaw Man characters together with. And then right after that was that Fleetwood Mac song that got really popular because of Our Flag Means Death. And I was like, are they just only playing ship songs from the media that I consume? Is that what's happening right now? Neither of them particularly like popular or relevant songs for this era from what I recall. So it was funny to hear them back to back. Probably just coincidence though. All right, I think this guy is ready to get a wash. And then that's where we're going to end for today. Because we're over 2 hours now. We're trying to just hit 2 hours and then be good. We've certainly achieved a lot, and I'm very proud of us. I can't see what you achieved on your hobby table. I can only assume that you achieved something while watching the stream. And whether that was just chilling out, having a nice time, or actually working on a model is valid. It was nice to spend some of my Saturday with you all. I've been really enjoying getting back into streaming, and I'm trying to keep Saturday as the consistent day that I do it. And we'll see how well that works out next Saturday. Because I do believe I have some snack playtesting that I have scheduled. But that's later in the day, so maybe we can get some hobbying done a little earlier. Alright. He's got a wash. His friend the snail has a wash. Everybody's looking fairly cohesive when put next to each other, and that really excites and delights me. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for voting in the Land Before Time versus Saw polls. I will catch you guys next time. Have a good one.